Gather round, dear friends, as I recount the tale of a young bride whose happily ever after was nearly derailed by a mother-in-law's relentless greed and her husband's misguided loyalty. I got married at 18 to my high school classmate Johnny. We had been dating since school. He was my first love. I thought it would last forever. Of course, we didn't plan to get married so young, but I got pregnant. We quickly got married and lived with my parents. My mom helped take care of our daughter while I finished college. My husband Johnny dropped out and got a job. By the end of university, my parents helped us save for the down payment on a one-bedroom apartment. It's worth noting that during this whole time, only my parents helped us out. They babysat our granddaughter, bought her things, helped Johnny get a job with no experience, and supported us financially as best they could. My mom was happy I had started a family, even though it was so young, and she believed close family should always help and support each other. But my mother-in-law was the complete opposite. I'll start by saying that Johnny was raised by his grandmother, his mother's mother. She divorced Johnny's dad when Johnny was 2 years old. Then she went off to rebuild her personal life. She had an affair with a man at work and took him away from his family. She took off with him up north for a better job, leaving her little boy with his grandma. Johnny didn't see his mom until he was 5. She never came down to visit her son during the holidays, preferring to spend that time with her new husband in Florida or the Caribbean. She only sent gifts for his birthday and Christmas and called occasionally. Johnny was starting to forget his mom when suddenly, after his 5th birthday, she showed up at the door unexpectedly. She had left her husband up north, as my mother-in-law said he had started drinking and raising a hand to her. Johnny was thrilled to have his mom back. But within a year, my mother-in-law found another fiancé and moved across town to live with him, again leaving her son with his grandma. She didn't take Johnny because her new husband didn't want any non-biological kids in his house. My mother-in-law put her personal life ahead of her own child's interests. With her 3rd husband, she lived for 10 years, during which time Johnny only saw his mom twice a month on Saturdays. This separation caused Johnny to idealize his mom. He thought she was practically a saint who worked hard for his benefit, because his mother made up for her absence with expensive gifts, and his grandma told him his mom didn't live with them because she had to work to make a living, so he wouldn't be upset. After divorcing her 3rd husband, with whom she had a daughter who is now 12, my mother-in-law moved back in with her mom and Johnny. She didn't work, living off of alimony from her ex-husband and her mother's pension. So when Johnny and I got married, we didn't get a penny from her. When our daughter grew up, I decided to open a floral business. I had always loved flowers and wanted to be a florist. I had been hesitating for a while, but finally decided to open my own flower shop. My parents gave me the money to start the business after my grandmother in the country passed away, and they sold her house. My husband supported my ideas, helping me pick out flowers for the shop and encouraging me. Unexpectedly, my business took off. I made custom bouquets that were very popular. I always had fresh flowers in a wide assortment and price range. Gradually, I expanded the business, eventually opening 5 shops around the city instead of just one. Johnny quit his job to help me run the family business, handling the warehouses, purchasing flowers, managing staff and accounting. Around this time, Johnny's grandmother passed away. As I mentioned, my mother-in-law had been living off her alimony and her mom's pension. After her mom died, she started slowly siphoning money from Johnny. At first, she just asked him to buy clothes for her daughter and school supplies. Then she started asking for grocery money too. It ended up with Johnny completely covering her utilities, food, and expenses for her daughter, while she spent her alimony on herself. I didn't like this. She was only 48 and could have worked. But it's easier to live off someone else. My husband didn't see an issue with supporting his mother, the woman he saw as practically a saint who needed lifelong help. I guess it was his way of continuing to earn her love and attention. When he gave her money, she showered him with praise about what a wonderful son he was. Each month, Johnny started giving her $2,000, $3,000 out of our business revenue to live on. I didn't like it, but tolerated it since we could still afford to live comfortably. But then my mother-in-law must have decided she could bleed us for even more money. One day, Johnny casually mentioned she and her daughter were going to Caribbean for her birthday, as a gift from him to her. For this trip alone, Johnny spent $8,000 from our business account, plus gave her the usual $3,000 to live on, and another $1,000 for souvenirs. That month, she cost me $12,000 in total. I was furious, especially since the next month our whole family had been planning a trip that we now couldn't afford due to his mother's vacation. We fought, and I tried explaining to Johnny that this wasn't okay, that he has his own family now. His mother can work and pay for her own luxuries. We shouldn't be funding her expensive travels at our expense. But he didn't listen, seeing nothing wrong with fully supporting her and her whims. We eventually made up, and I hoped deep down he realized his mother was just using him and would stop paying for her beach vacations. But I underestimated her audacity and Johnny's passiveness. 2 months later, I discovered $20,000 had been withdrawn from our account to fund renovations my mother-in-law decided she wanted in her apartment. And that was just the first installment. She needed $50,000 total. I yelled at Johnny for doing this without consulting me first. He claimed since the flower shops were our family business, he had the right to spend the money as he saw fit. I told him this was my idea and investment. He wouldn't be getting a penny, packed his bags, and kicked him out. I filed for divorce, as I didn't see our marriage going anywhere positive. I removed him from the business, which was solely in my name, with no legal claim for him. Johnny moved in with his mom, got a lower-paying job, and quickly went from her beloved son, whom she praised, to a deadbeat she couldn't rely on for money. That's when it finally dawned on him who his mother really was. He moved out and cut off her cash supply completely. Now he's trying to get back together with me, saying he realizes everything and it won't happen again. I haven't decided yet, keeping him at arm's length for now. I still have feelings for him. Johnny is a good husband and father, but I'm worried about a repeat with his mother. You never know if he'll revert. For now, my daughter and I live alone, and I'm gradually bringing her into the business. My mother-in-law periodically messages me asking to borrow money, which I ignore. She can figure it out herself. I'm done with her. Friends, who do you think is right and who is wrong in this story? Share your opinion in the comments. See you soon on new videos.